I continued with the Dark World, and much like Chapter 3, things weren't that different in the Dark World itself. There were a few more differences this time, and I wrote them down. I'm wondering if I should just read all my notes now. Yeah, what the hell. I can catch you up on what happened. So first off, when reviewing the previous video, I should have realized Carol calls instead of Birdley in Noelle's house in the weird route. For obvious reasons, Birdley can't call Noelle. Should have thought of it in the moment, but I was too busy being worried what's gonna happen. It seems getting stronger only applies for the current Dark World. Never paid too much attention to that, but when I looked at everyone's max life as I was playing through this Dark World, I noticed it was the same, and likely around Chapter 5, whether or not you fight everything in Chapter 4, it'll still be the same. So that's... I wonder what the implications of that are. Or maybe the reasoning for it. Oh, what else did I write here at the start of Chapter 4 in the weird route? Everyone's max life was the same. Yeah, it was the normal playthrough. After the first sentence, I just filled the rest in myself without having to read it. When I fought Jackenstein, I decided to try attacking, because I solved every fight that way, right? Which is interesting, because I'm pretty sure you don't need to fight everything in every single chapter for the weird route, and yet I feel compelled to, because it just seems like it makes sense with Snowgrave and all that. But yeah, I don't think you have to, but it seems Jackenstein is much like Sweet Captain Cakes, the K round in Chapter 1, Lenina and or wait, what was it again? Why do I keep mixing them up? Elnina and Lenino, in that you can't win the fights with violence. They're just gonna end the same way regardless. If you try to attack Jackenstein in particular, you'll always miss because of the dark. And if you don't use Unleash, because I was kind of stalling trying to attack, right? Jackenstein eventually starts looping an attack where eyeballs and treasure rain down on you in the dark. You can quickly get enough TP to use Unleash. So that's neat. Kind of speeds it up after you've seen all the unique houses. I fought the Hammer of Justice again. I have 4 Shadow Crystals. In fact, I'll show that right now. And that confirms that I got a Shadow Crystal from Weird Route Spamton Neo. What else? Yeah, when fighting the Hammer of Justice, I was using Rude Buster, because I didn't the first time, and I was aware that the fight would get really hard if you don't progress it by using the heal. Apparently the heal progresses the fight the most. And yeah, I saw 2 new attack sequences, and I couldn't do the second one. Maybe I'll run through and do, if I feel like it, like an extra video of beating the Hammer of Justice the hard way. But Rude Buster, the Hammer of Justice will reflect it back, and you need to play tennis with the Rude Buster. Classic trope, right? But apparently it progresses the fight very little compared to the heal. So if you just use that the way I did, after the boss goes through all the attacks, those 2 new attacks will happen. Maybe there's even more than 2, I don't know. But it seemed after dodging the first of the attacks successfully, a lot of progress was added to the fight. So I guess those difficult attacks will just trigger the end of the fight at that point. And the normal final attack happened on my successful run where I attacked and healed more. But yeah, I wasn't able to do it the hard way this time. Oh, this is a big one. When Ralsei asks Chris to close their eyes, if you say no until he says to think of someone else, on the weird route there's an option to think of Noelle. I chose it, and all you get is a single red pixel moving around in the middle of the screen, which apparently was in the Spamton sweepstakes. That was a lot of stuff that they were hinting at there, huh? And there's a text box, and all Noelle says, incredibly slowly, unnaturally, with the letters shaking, is "Thank you." So that's freaking creepy. Then there's a flash of red, and Chris is collapsed to the ground. And Susie's like, "Chris, what happened? Your eyes were closed. You seem to be breathing heavily. Then you just fell. What the?" And then Ralsei shows up, and Susie's like, "Ralsei, where the heck were you?" And then it goes back to normal, but that moment is really creepy. It wasn't enough for me to want to upload all of that, because I was very quiet, and it was pretty much exactly the same. Oh yeah, and after the first fountain is sealed, when examining the prayer candles, choosing to pray for Noelle, normally, like you may have seen in the normal playthrough, you get, I think Chris prays for Rudy instead. But here, that doesn't happen. Chris punches the stand with all the candles, and Susie's like, "Hey, I like smashing stuff, but you know your name's on there as well." So that's another difference. I didn't notice anything else, though. So the rest is just small things I missed. For example, when I was looking up stuff, if you throw 10,000 dark dollars into the water, you know, where in the second sanctuary everything is flipped, and that same place there's a chest. Apparently what's in the chest depends on the amount you give. So I gave enough for a revivement, but I learned that if you add 10,000 to the water, you get something. Apparently 2 less than 10,000 is good enough, because 2 more dark dollars come from somewhere, apparently. What you get is Gold Widow. Oh, and I've given myself a note. Show it on video and explain. I just explained. So I gave it to Susie. This is what you get from that chest. A spider made of gold. It gathers coins into it, reducing dollars gained. But the stats on it are really good. Look at it compared to the Wafer Guard. And it's offensive, and I guess that's what we're doing. Oh, and this is what I did for Chris. I equipped the Black Shard. Spike Band and Power Band. 40 attack. That's really something. Okay, what else? What else? Oh, right, the NPC there says, "Wow, that's absurd. You might as well give all your money to a spider." It's just a nice reference to Muffet, right? Wait, what was it? A spider donut was just under 10,000? That's funny. Other than that, I don't want to backtrack right now because it's kind of far away. Or should I do it? Wait, the flame's here. I should do it. This next thing was something I missed. Actually, in this room, you see diagonally up and to the right of Chris, there's that, I don't know what it looks like prayer beads. And then diagonally up and to the left is that ring with the 2 wings. I didn't find the bits of the legend that used that imagery, and now I did. People referenced it in some videos I watched, and I was like, what the hell? Where is that? And I think it was right around here somewhere, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. to... Yeah, you see this? Perspective. You can walk behind these bookshelves. That's what I didn't notice. So there it is. They'll hear the ring of heaven's call. Which I have no idea what to make of. This looks like angel imagery. But there was that other bit of the legend that apparently shows what the angel looks like, but the player doesn't get to see, so... And the other thing is over here. Hopefully I can do this. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Yeah, first try. I failed that like 10 times the first time. The moment the box appears, you need to let go and jump as quick as possible. And here's the other thing. This feels like the polar opposite of the previous one. They'll see the tail of hell take crawl. This is probably the most abstract image so far. It's just a bunch of discs or orbs in a line. I said prayer beads, but the tail of hell doesn't sound like that at all. I have no idea. Maybe both of those will make sense in future chapters. They almost certainly will. Nice little shortcut there, but if you fall off, you just fall from above here back down onto this platform like you fell through a set of portals. I'll just head back. I'm glad the shortcuts line up so well for me to show that off. Also, the fight in here that I avoided on my first playthrough, it does contain another wing-laid, and I fought that, so yeah. Fights are so quick and easy when you have attack power and you use, like, Root Buster, Black Shard. It's silly. Wasn't that much of a fight. Oh, while I'm here, rest of the notes. Ring of Heaven's Call, Tail of Hell Take Crawl. We just talked about both of those. The Bell of Judgment, if I can use it here. I knew it would be different since I fought everything, and I think just fighting everything in this chapter is all you have to do to get this outcome. Much like in Chapter 3, I'm pretty sure if you just fight everybody, that's why Tenna ends up staying broken and potentially getting thrown away by Toriel in the future. But the bell rung hollow. When I went to the section where Jackenstein helps you climb, if... Can I actually go back up here again? Yeah, but there's nothing. Jackenstein climbs as before, but after the knight attacks the pillar, Jackenstein doesn't say, "I'll just be more careful," and then the two swords knock him off along with everybody else. No, Jackenstein instead says, "You climb on without me," and Rousey convinces Susie to leave Jackenstein behind and says, "I hope we can seal the fountain quickly." And then the knight with a single sword, after everybody's further up the pillar, knocks Jackenstein off to his doom, and since we fought everyone, no one was here to save Jackenstein, so... Yeah, I thought that would happen. And, yeah, that was all my notes. Now, just in case something is different, and I'm locking in this video getting uploaded since I went through all my notes and I just deleted them. I'll finish this up with the finale here. I don't expect the ending to be any different, but who knows. Chapter 3's ending was exactly the same, even on Snowgrave. It's interesting, by the way, after replaying this Dark World, it seems like maybe the Titan was partially formed already and the Knight just added the finishing touches, because that smoke rising from the bottom, it's there, I guess black smoke, whatever it is. During the climbing sections and when you're sliding around on the piano in the second sanctuary, that smoke is there already, and those weird fireball looking things that are, turns out, part of the Titan are also there. And in the darkness, when you're running away from something that's creating like a red sound, that something has the silhouette of a Titan spawn. So it's strange. The first time playing through, it seems like the Titan creates, or the night creates the Titan here and now. But maybe it was closer to completion than we realized. And would explain why Ralsei is like, it's hatching so fast. It's spawning already. Maybe it's actually partially manifested. Even before we get to the fountain. I wonder if I can just fight the Titan without using Unleash. And I can use the black shard and see how strong it is. And I can also fight the Titan spawn with it. Should be effective. Actually, I already know that you can kill the Titan spawn. I'm just wondering how long it's gonna take. And when I say kill, I mean not fight them until they run away. I mean, they actually turn to dust. So, yeah. I'll try to be quick about this. I don't know if the black water got me the first time, but it just deals damage. It won't wash you off, apparently. I just remembered another small detail because of the eye imagery here. I didn't get that interaction in Ralsei's room, right? So there was no option to take any furniture for Ralsei's room. So when you're in that one library with the two pianos that move two different colored pillars. Oh, you can jump over that, that's cool. But when you're in that particular part of the sanctuary, Susie, instead of taking the ladder, is looking at the books and says that they're filled with nothing but eyes. And that it seemed like those eyes were talking to her. So that's interesting. I'm gonna use the word interesting a lot, but what do you say when something is intriguing and you don't know what to make of it? I guess I could also say curious, fascinating, and whatnot. I figured out such a great thumbnail for the previous video, but for this, I have no idea. For the sake of that, I hope something significantly different happens. I'm wondering if I'm wrong about the Titan already being mostly there before the night creates that last fountain. Did Ralsei say anything different? Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention to the text. But if I'm wrong that the Titan was already mostly there. Maybe just being in the darkness in a dark world like that will create Titan spawn. That's another explanation, I suppose. I don't know why you're prompted to wait there. Is it like a warning to use healing items before this fight or something? Right. I'm also gonna try to beat the Titan without using any healing. Hopefully I can manage that. I guess technically I could still use the revive Chris options. So how much damage is the shard gonna do? Oh wow! 10 times more, apparently. I don't know that I even need the TP, but oh wow. Well, in that case, Chris can target this one. And hopefully Susie and Rousey can do enough. They probably can, I hope. Okay, yeah, you see. Oh, perfectly timed. It just straight up kills them in one shot. What the? Huh. Well, that's really strong. Yeah, this is another thing I remembered is that... Oh, dog. But it says slain, too. The game will remember that, I guess. Dark bead, broken off but still locked. What the... That's not what it said before, did it? That feels very specific. Faces fate with the blade. It was carries out fate with the blade for Chris at this point, right? Records and faces the fate. Yeah. Ugh. So Snowgrave changed Chris's... I know Toby using Susie as a mouthpiece called it the weird route, but I'm pretty sure that's just him screwing around. I'm still gonna call it Snowgrave because it's much more... It's about as esoteric as the weird route, but it sounds much cooler, doesn't it? I'm still wondering what the hell we're gonna do with Noelle. What is she gonna be like after that horrible scene in her house? Oh, there's a Titan spawn down there. Ugh. Didn't see that last time. By the way, I'm just gonna mention, after this section, when I talked to Pure Question, I asked him, since I know that him and Alex are in the credits of this game, in reference to this section, I asked him, so who was on God Monster duty? I won't mention the rest of our conversation, but that's what I told him. And apparently Alex Middle was involved in this specifically. I don't know about the climbing section, but probably the boss fight itself. I wasn't very specific about that. Okay then. Eternal night. Earth's burning dire, earths expire, roaring cries, darkened eyes. Oh, I just remembered another thing, but before I say that, it has to do with this, right? That is almost certainly supposed to be the contour of a realistic human face. A head, I mean. That's bald. You can see it, right? The bottom lip, a bit of the top lip, the nose, and then the rest of the skull all the way up. And based on the hand coming out of the pillar, it does, with this it does set it up on a first playthrough to think we're just gonna fight a giant creepy humanoid. And really, that is kind of what happens, but yeah. That's the actual design. So, something people brought up in videos I've seen. Apparently they see Gaster's face in the image of the Titan here. And if you squint and you see that thing on the Titan's face that looks like a star above, like the top half of it, to the left and to the right, those are the eyes, and then the bottom half of it is framed by the wings and everything. You see something sort of like Gaster's eyes and mouth. Now, I had to be told about that, and then I had to strain my eyes to see it. I would believe that Gaster has something to do with the Titans and, you know, darker than dark. The shadows cutting deeper. Photon readings negative. I can see that, but when it comes to seeing Gaster's face in this thing, I think it's much like seeing Jesus' face in a piece of toast. It's probably nothing more than pareidolia, and I'm not gonna think that hard about it. So onward. How much damage does the Titan take in this state? Well, with the black shard, that seems decent. I'll look at the percentage on my next turn. I'll try not to increase the light radius either. Slithered like a snake. And I'm thinking about Tail of Hell, but that's not necessarily a snake. I guess it could be the tail of a snake. I don't know. I can think about implications like that, but unlike theorists, I just can't. I can't read too deeply into it. 95%. I could just attack it and not use Unleash, I guess. Might as well. Try to push myself like that. I don't know about not using any healing. I might go back on that because I do ultimately just want to have a clean recording. Well, this isn't going to take that long, probably. Also realize that you need to light up the eyes on these hands specifically to destroy the fingers. It's kind of cool. Man, Susie's taking the worst of it, huh? Wait a minute. What the heck? Why not? Gotta use that TP for something, if not Unleash. Ah, poor timing. I think this is actually going to get pretty tough later when there's 3 different types of Titan spawn in this attack. Among other things. The 3 snakes are also going to be tough, probably. Okay, that was better. Damn. Okay, that's really sloppy. I'm not gonna unleash. Maybe something different happens if I win the fight this way. I don't know. But maybe it's just hard enough to do it this way anyway. Yeah, okay. I won't use any items at least. Apologies for not having enough guts, but I don't want to be here all day. Some of the future games I play, there I can prove my mettle. At this point, does Susie's heal restore more life than Ralsei's? But then again, I traded Ralsei's magic for attack, so maybe that's part of it. Oh god. I think I can do one more round. But if Susie falls, that's a problem. How much was this? Right. Okay, I'll use another heal prayer then. It's definitely easier to use Unleash. How did that not hit me? I'm trying to look out for any new messages, but there don't seem to be any, unless I'm not paying enough attention. Ah. Wasn't paying enough attention there. Okay, fine. Nope. Yeah, it starts off at a full heal, and I guess it gets worse. Well, Susie's not quite maxed out yet. Did I just neglect defense too much, or is the Titan dealing more damage now? Ugh. Yeah, you still get some TP from attacking at least. You know what, it's actually nice that the intended way is really easy, and then you could also do it this way if that's too easy for you. I take it back, this fight is not super underwhelming or anything. I just realized, how hard is the black shark gonna hit if... Oh! Did we have to get it lower before? Yeah, if I used Unleash, how hard would the black shard hit on the exposed Titan? Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe the last time you expose it and hit it, you just deal a lot of overkill damage, and it has a very high amount of life remaining beyond the threshold. So that you don't actually kill it because, well, you're not supposed to, obviously. I also realize now that Jackenstein was mechanically and I guess thematically foreshadowing this fight. You know, the darkness that reduces TP gain, you gotta collect treasure. And thematically, it's... Rousey was only healing the outside of Jackenstein, and Susie managed to do it by shooting a healing blast into Jackenstein's mouth. Or through the mouth of the pumpkin, right? And here, similarly, that's how the Titan is defeated. Rousey's plan doesn't work, and Susie has to take matters into her own hands to beat this thing. This is still really cool, but also... Once the wings closed in and the Titan started healing itself, the fight was already over. Like, in terms of gameplay, there's nothing going on now, right? Especially now that I know how the fight ends. That's what I was talking about with scripted fights, right? Forgot for a moment there. Also, I didn't catch Susie's idea and the prompt to throw Chris. It's a callback to the second K round fight in Chapter 1. Which is pretty cool. There are so many sprite rotations of the characters in Chapter 4. It's kinda nuts. Interesting that Susie never noticed the soul until now. Even though the soul seals the fountains, and Susie's always there next to Chris when that happens. Maybe she just didn't think about it until now. There was another thing I heard about. Seems the way is blocked. By what? But that wasn't the thing, it was... I'll see in a second. Hope is lost for the tale. Final tragedy unveils. Save the worlds, there is only one way. I had an idea. If the next line is the one that Rousey doesn't want Susie to see, and this one prefaces it, if the next line rhymes, can that help us figure out what it is? The only thing I could come up with was to save the worlds, there's only one way. The darkners must be sealed away. I think that would get the same visceral reaction from Susie. Like, no, we're not just gonna abandon everybody, and I suspect that last fountain is gonna be a problem. That's where my head is at, but I'm curious to hear other interpretations of what it could be. Oh, right. If I instantly scroll the text, it advances automatically. That is how that works. Yeah, Susie jumps straight to denial. And she does seem very attached to my castle town. It gives her a certain comfort that the worlds are not going away permanently. At least not everyone in them. But if that's how the prophecy ends, then yeah. Makes enough sense to me. I haven't heard anyone interpret it that way, but that's what I was thinking when I really thought about it. After I finished Chapter 4 for the first time. Before I watched a bunch of videos. Everyone's like, oh, Chris is gonna die, or Elsie's gonna die, or Susie is gonna die. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Gotta do it. Now, some people couldn't bring themselves to say that, but I'm still not. I do believe that Ralsei is being genuine, but I also think that he knows something really bad and not just the prophecy. I still don't entirely trust him. You know what they say about good intentions, right? I guess that was a little different. I could have read it. Apologies. Oh, Ralsei didn't stop Chris and say their piano playing was great. So is now that thing I vaguely learned about? It's a really weird place to backtrack. Seems the way it's blocked. Huh? You put out your hand, and just out of view, just perfectly out of view, another hand pressed against yours and pushed you back. What am I supposed to make of that? Is someone else in here? Is the knight still in here? What? Okay, moving on. I kind of wish I didn't know about that. That just raises more questions. That's not a Snowgrave thing, is it? I don't see why it would be. I don't know, that's one problem. I haven't tried absolutely everything in a normal run. So, I don't know what exactly is from Snowgrave and what isn't. I think almost everything except those two things I mentioned about Noel in my list of my notes, right? I think everything else was just variations on how Chapter 4 can play out, regardless of Snowgrave. But the two Noel things were obviously Snowgrave. Yeah, this is all the same. Hope I didn't miss anything while I was talking. Why didn't the guitar riff play? Because I'm with you in the dark motif, right? There's a guitar riff of it that plays when the last fountain is sealed. Except Chapter 3. I think that doesn't happen in Chapter 3 because the way Chapter 4 starts. I was speculating. This place is a mess, right? Actually, I think it was in the comments of one of the videos, so maybe you could have read it. But I was wondering why this room is such a mess, if it's because of the night or the Titan, maybe both. Probably both, honestly. Much like Tenna got wrecked after Chapter 3. Either a little bit or a lot, depending on how things play out. I guess the dark worlds do affect the light world as well. Again, Chris, goddammit, what are you doing? It's funny, I both don't trust Chris at all, and I'm suspicious as hell. Chris might be a traitor, might be the real antagonist. Maybe I'm the antagonist, I don't freaking know. Obviously, everything that happened in Snowgrave, Chris is completely justified in hating the soul. But it's complicated. There's only one thing I can think of. I guess there's nothing down here, really. I don't know why I'm going to the shelter, but... yeah, that's the same. There's only one little interaction I missed. So I guess I'll go do that and then end the chapter. And that'll be that. Until 2026. I have plenty of stuff I can do. Wait, what am I doing? Not that way. Nope. Still haven't learned the layout of this place. Just realized without really thinking about it, I'm choosing to use the sidewalks. That's kind of funny. Apparently I didn't wait here long enough. I was watching a video and someone mentioned this part. I was like, oh yeah, I did that. And then I saw some dialogue that was new to me. I was like, what the hell? Come on, I wasn't thorough enough. I'm gonna be waiting here for a while. I guess while I await the thumbnail to the previous video, apparently I wouldn't have been able to make that thumbnail if I was in a slightly older version of the game. Because originally it wasn't bloody shattered glass, which makes the thorn seem incredibly agonizing, doesn't it? That's what I was thinking when I saw that. I had no words for it. And I was too distracted by the jingle after that to comment on the visuals. But apparently originally There was the same sound effect, but instead of the bloody shattered glass, it was a rose that wilts and collapses, which I understand. At that point, Noelle, there's no going back for her. At that point, she knows that all of the horrible things that happened are real. Blissful ignorance is impossible at that point. But apparently, and this kind of pisses me off, people were misinterpreting the flower, and they were reading into the whole weird route in a really very twisted, like, abusive romance way, and I don't know where the hell they're getting that from. I can see it when I try to look for it, but much like Gaster's face in the Titan, it's like, you are trying way too hard. If you read deeply enough into anything, you can make stuff up when it was never intended. And I think Toby changing the graphic there pretty much shows that it's not intended. And it's so annoying. It's like the most sensitive people who are set off so easily by dark topics are the people who constantly bring them up. I never would have thought of that. Because personally, I think controlling Noelle and using her as a tool to do our esoteric bidding is already twisted enough without that other reading of it. It's like, oh, how could Toby do that? And here you are assuming that that's what it means and that Toby wanted to do it. I don't blame him for changing it, honestly. That's so ridiculous. Anyway. I probably should have been talking while waiting. Yeah. That wasn't very efficient of me. And for the record, if you want to read the vague symbolism of the weird route that way... Did Chris just turn slightly? What? I got something on my face or something? Huh. I think that really dark subject matter... Actually, here's a good example for you. Silent Hill 2. That's how you do that particular messed up theme. Oh. I'll finish my thought later. Say what's on your mind, I guess. Huh? Why are you talking with your mouth closed? Maybe that's not a Snowgrave thing, maybe that's just Chris. Again, resisting the player. But anyway, Silent Hill 2 is completely unambiguous in that same dark subject matter. Guess we should go. Chris? Come on. We can't just sit here forever. Chris. Don't howl. Yes, that's a much clearer, unambiguous end to that scene. Silent Hill 2 pretty much plainly states that that's what's happening, and it's handled so well with the character in question. There's so many instances where people want dark subject matter like that to be a thing, and yet it's apparently done in a way where it practically isn't there, and I think that's kind of bullshit. If you're gonna talk about that, do it. Don't make the vaguest of implications for people to read into, to the point where I could say, just like before, you're seeing Jesus' face on a piece of toast. There's nothing there. You just want there to be something there. That's how I feel on the matter. Otherwise, I don't care. Like, explore the darkest possible subject matter. I think The worst possible ideas are best explored in fantasy and fiction, right? I was so worried before, but now I'm laughing. Okay, at least Tenna's still there. Gerson is right about Susie having hope. That happens to Tenna and she's like, maybe we can still fix him. And now, thanks to her, I believe that we can. I guess I understand what Gerson means. Yeah, I completely forgot about a line Sans says in a previous chapter. Oh, I already befriended your mom last night. I completely deleted that from my memory. Because why would I expect something like that to actually be serious, especially coming from the funny troll skeleton man? Troll is in... He does trolling, you know. Honestly, Toriel's sprites and animations are also really great there. Production values, and again cleverly masking by going out of frame, Sans helping her get back up so that doesn't have to be animated. Okay, I don't think there's anything for me to mess around with. Yeah, maybe it's no different, just like Chapter 3. And I guess Chapter 2's ending as well, with Chris opening the fountain in the living room, was also the same on Snowgrave. I can fidget around as the heart. Wait, that's not Susie. What? Oh. Wait, is that actually Carol speaking? That's different from how it was before. Chris, are you there? Then I'll just leave a message. You are going to the festival tomorrow, aren't you? I just wanted to confirm. Noelle said she's really looking forward to seeing you. Oh god. The red pixel, that's what happened that I was talking about earlier. Ugh. Is the red pixel the thorn in her finger? Or what? I never thought a single red dot would be that disturbing, but is Noelle fully a puppet now, or I don't know what to think. Now for both routes, I can't wait until Chapter 5. A double cliffhanger. Well done. The halfway mark has been attained. That's the same. Does this voice not care what exactly happens as long as the story progresses? I'm still waiting. How much longer now? My Deltarune. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna let this play out because I think it really caught me off guard when this was a little different the first time. If the legend seemed hopeful at all before, now it's not. It's definitely not. I would say that these are the files I will continue from in the future, but I might run through the normal route again, get all the eggs, just have a perfect save file. I'll see whether or not I want to record like the most difficult possible version of the Gerson fight. To be honest, the gimmick with blocking the arrows kind of screws with me. I found it significantly harder than the regular gameplay. I'll see. But yeah, I do want to maybe run through everything again at my own pace. I think that'll be nice. And I could probably torment myself as much as I want with no healing and stuff like that, just to make things a bit more interesting. Maybe I'll use terrible equipment for Chapter 4 and 3. When it comes to the next playthrough, still haven't really decided. I have one specific idea. It's another much more obscure indie game. I think it should be fun. I have to sort of kill a month until my summer vacation. But maybe I just want to take it easy until then. I don't know how long the playthrough's gonna take. I'll see. But yeah. For the rest of this year, as you can see in the copyright down there, that's as much Deltarune as we could experience. I can't wait. For the last time, this time for real, thank you for watching.